G'day everybody and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 power star rating. I'm your host Drew Agnew and the doors to episode 273 are open. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door and much more. To do all that is my good mate Josh, or JT if you like. Josh, how you going my friend?
Very well, thank you, Drew. I'm on a bit of a buzz right now in my gaming on my Switch, enjoying Paper Mario. It's taken me back to the good old days on the GameCube and just made me realize how many good games there are on that console and how cool this game is. So I'm pretty keen to talk about that and get right into it.
Yeah, I saw a little graphic today of like a bunch of games that came out in 2004. And obviously Paper Mario Thousand Year Door is one of them. Pikmin 2 is another one. And I was thinking like 2004 is probably like my first year as a Nintendo fan because I got my Game Boy Advance for Christmas. That was my first console, first Nintendo device for Christmas 2003. Then 2004 was kind of like the first year and it was like the lead up to the DS in 2005 for us in Australia. And it made me sort of think like Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door was never on my radar. I didn't know about it as a kid. It was all about, Pokemon and, just games on my Game Boy Advance. But I wish it was on my radar. I really do. But it also goes to show how old this goddamn game is. I was a little boy playing my Game Boy Advance. This was the start of my gaming career in some ways. But man,
start of the obsession. Yeah. Here we go. It's
start of the obsession.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
20 years on, and I think this is a title a lot of people have missed. So people are either coming onto it for the first time or playing it again for a second and probably loving every minute of it again like they did the first time. So it's been great to see either way.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking about it, our time so far, which I'm keen to hear what you've been up to in the game, Josh. But before we get into that, let's just stretch our legs a bit. How you been over the last week? I haven't talked to you. I only talk to you on the podcast. Otherwise, can't stand you otherwise. I just like to talk to you when it's recorded, Vice versa.
We do a little bit of talking when games release and checking to see if we're getting it or not, or how it works out, all that kind of stuff. But no, pretty good. Back into the swing of things from my Melbourne trip last week. And so, just been nice being at home. And then lead up was to Paper Mario, but also had to try and play as much Hollow Knight as I could before that date because I knew Thursday came along, was probably not going to be touching Hollow Knight for a little while. So I still haven't finished that game. It's I'm like the double jump ability in that, and I can access a whole bunch of new areas, but I'm still a little way off. I feel like there's so much to explore in this game still, and it's a long one. Remind me of the Lost Crown now in terms of game length and things you can do in it. So I've had a nice week gaming. It's been quite actually relaxing and good to sort of spend some proper time playing them all.
That sounds very nice. I over the weekend I got no gaming done. Just busy really. Yeah, it's on the farm. It's we're waiting for the rain, Josh. Waiting for the rain. Where
is the rain? There's no rain.
Yeah, no, there is no rain. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we're going to open the desalination plant soon because there's no rain. They're going to use the ocean water.
Yeah, well, tell you what, if it goes like this, we're going to bloody need it. Tell you what. Yeah. No, we're feeding all our animals at the moment, and usually this is like a time of year where we don't have to because we've usually got so much feed on the ground. But no, we're pretty busy just feeding sheep and all that, keeping them fat, especially. They're about to lamb at the moment. They're about to have their babies, so we've got to look after them. So, I spent a bit of time on the weekend working and Lucas and soccer. Won our first game of soccer this week, which was good.
Hey, congrats. Awesome. Did you get a goal?
I did not get a goal, but I did let a goal in, if that makes. So we won 3-1.
Oh, dear.
But the one goal was my fault.
Own goal?
I'll own it. Oh, no. I buggered it up. I wasn't on my man hard enough.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
So that's 3-1. You still won anyway, easily.
That's right. Yeah. We made up for my mistake, but that's all right. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
So
Who's
yeah,
like ladder position? Are you going to be like up? Is there finals in your league, or is there just
yeah, there are
top
finals.
whoever wins?
I wouldn't know
Yeah.
about it because I don't know if I've ever been in more than one final or semi-final in my life.
Okay.
So no, it's a rough spot in our soccer club. Rough spot. I just play
Okay.
it.
Bit of
I
a
just
struggle streak.
yeah. I just need an excuse to run around and chase a
Yeah.
ball with some sweaty boys. That's all I need. That's all I'm there for. Some balls and sweaty boys.
Yeah. Well, you had me at balls. So no. That's good for you. Good for you. You're becoming a dad of two soon. So you gotta stay in shape, mate. You gotta keep up.
Yeah, that's right. I've got to be a good role
This
model.
is important.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. That's a good point. But staying
And
in
this
shape,
is
so you can lift them all up and play with them and be there.
yeah. Well, Lucas is 15 kilos now, so he's getting heavy.
He'll be lambing soon as well. God, Jesus.
He'll be picking them up.
Be riding him around soon as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Poor little
and this is
farmer boy
the
Lucas.
first episode I'm recording in the lounge room. I've got my desk finally moved out of the spare bedroom, so I'm in the lounge room. So this is a little bit weird. It's a little bit more echoey. I'm sure people will be able to hear it. I got Chantel right next to me. She's got the headphones on, watching TV. And before we started, actually, she's watching Jimmy Carr, and she was just cracking up the whole time. So I had to put something on a little less amusing. She's giving me. I'm not used to people being able to hear me podcasting. It's really weird, but I'll get used to it. Got the
Yeah,
rest of my life out here now, so
I've had to do it a couple of times before in the old place because that was in the same
yeah, true.
situation, the
Yeah,
living area, and luckily Mickey or Michaela had soundproof, sound blocking headphones, and she could actually she had no idea what I was saying, but we were in the same room. It's still very weird, and it'll take you a little getting used to, but yeah, see how you go. It's a pretty big lounge room though, Drew, because all I can see is Princess Peach's castle in the background. So I don't know what you're talking about. You obviously live outdoors or something like that, but no, it looks very nice where you're sitting right now.
yeah. My lounge room's just like the courtyard on Princess Peach's castle. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
audio listeners. I got just the background of Princess Peach's castle, just on the YouTube version, just so it blocks out my son's toys. It doesn't just look like a massive mess.
Yeah. Would you call that the House of Mario, or would you call the little hut where he lives with Luigi the House of Mario?
It's all the House of Mario, man. The House of
It's
Mario
all
can
the
be
House.
whatever it
Okay,
means to
okay.
you. Yeah,
All right,
absolutely.
all right.
I mean, just for anybody that doesn't know, it's just the House of Mario is just a nickname for Nintendo. It's just the House of Mario. Just what's the House of Mario? It's Nintendo. That's it. But it could be my house where I guess the podcast originated. It could be Mario's Princess Peach's castle where Mario has a nice bedroom in the basement and he pops out whenever anybody needs help because he's just such a good hero. He's a good bloke, Mario. He's a nice man.
He's pretty nice. Yeah.
What else could be the House of Mario?
Uh, every time Charles Martinet appears, he's still got the House of Mario with him, even though he's no longer Mario.
Yeah, just his body is the House of Mario. It's just he's like, whoa, oh, I'm gonna go get the spaghetti. Whoa. He's just doing that. So it's just, there's actually a little Mario inside his belly, and that's his home. So that's So his body, his carcass could be the House of Mario.
I mean, like they're gallivanting him around all over the world. He'll be coming to Sydney later this year, so he is definitely the House of Mario still, in some shape or form. I like that. That was a good explanation. Good to sort of clarify for everyone listening who might be a bit newer what it actually means.
Who knows? Yeah, because I remember this was a few years ago. This might have been 3 years ago, but there was a mutual friend, and I saw them just for somebody's birthday or something, and they said, "Hey man, like how's the podcast going? How's all that stuff going, dude?" Like it's just I think he gets on the weed a bit, so he gets a bit excited. I know weed doesn't get you excited, but this guy, he's a good guy. But he's like, I heard you, I was reading an article the other day, and you got quoted for breaking some news. I'm like, really? Like, we don't break news. Like, why
No,
would
definitely
be
not.
why would we be mentioned? But
Yeah.
it was exactly what I was talking about earlier. Was like the House of Mario was a nickname for Nintendo. So instead of this particular writer writing Nintendo, is releasing this game or whatever it was about, they just said the House of Mario is doing this instead of using the word Nintendo. So they thought it meant like they're talking
Yeah.
about our podcast, which I
Actual
thought was
podcast.
hilarious. I thought that was
Yeah, that's so
absolutely
weird. Never seen
hilarious.
that before. Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
take that.
it used to be
That's
used
cool.
all the time. I remember like IGN articles and everywhere used to call Nintendo the House of Mario. So it's just me that
Really?
jumped on it for the podcast name. Yeah,
Hey, well, there you go. If they use it now, you can be like, "Hey, hang on, just give me a little credit or something. Thank you very much. Cut me a check."
yeah, just cut me a check. Yeah.
Yeah, however that works.
I don't know. I can't sell shirts with House of Mario on it, so Nintendo they'd break my neck if I tried to do that.
Yeah.
They'd make sure I have nothing left.
Yeah, not
Except for a
happening.
Nintendo Switch, so I can still buy their games and make their money.
Yep.
But everything else would be gone.
Is it the name, like Mario, or is it because you'd have Mario like designed your logo?
I,
Is that
I
why?
assume it's the designs, yeah. So it
Yeah.
would have to do like a more generic one, which
Yes, less on the nose. Yeah, I get you.
yeah, the designer who did the House of Mario logo, very talented, but he won't talk to me, so so I can't get back in contact with him.
Oh,
But,
he's too
that is
busy
what it
now.
is. Too busy. Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Do you have all the
Yeah,
assets to rewrite it? Or sorry, get someone else to do it?
yeah, I could. Yeah,
Yeah, it's good to.
it's just that's that costs money and time and
Oh, for
all
sure,
that. But
for
I
sure.
would like to do it. I would love to do merch. I've tried a few times.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Hell yeah.
yeah, because I have my own t-shirts, but even they're like falling apart and fading at this point because they're probably like 5 or so years old at this point, six
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'd be good to get that
I'd love
started
to see it.
because I think it looks
Yeah.
good on a t-shirt. I quite like the logo, but
It is nice. I do like it. Yes. I've got a little cutout right there I'm looking at right now.
oh yeah, you got it up in the corner.
Yep. And then oh, it's not in the camera shot. I've got a couple of images. Couple of images. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Do you have yours around your Nintendonia logo around anywhere?
I have hang on a second.
Oh, Josh is reaching for a nice little framed picture he's got. And he's struggling to put back on his headphones.
Got a little Pikachu
Ah,
wearing a
yeah,
Nintendo hat. Taylor or Katsudon, very good and talented artist, did that for me. That's really
awesome.
it for the logo, though. I think I got a T-shirt. You've seen me wear that, but nothing else in here anyway. I should fix that one day.
You fix that,
But
dude.
yeah, I'll fix that. I'll get to it.
You fix that.
So many other things to do though in the meantime. But yeah,
Yeah, we got things to do. But enough rambling
other things
about
to talk about.
the
Yeah,
podcast name and the merch and all that stuff.
yes. Must be
Josh.
housekeeping.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that's just some housekeeping. Let's not do an hour into the show. This is a House of Mario, a Nintendo podcast. If you like to support the show, you can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and you can watch it live on youtube.com/iDruby. And Josh, as far as Nintendovania goes, you just dropped a brand new episode with Paul James. Tell us about that episode.
Yeah, just came live this afternoon. Yeah, had the great pleasure of having Paul James on the show. He's the deputy editor of Player 2, the game's website. And so I had a good chat to him about Paper Mario, the Thousand Year Door, because he was the one who reviewed it for the website. And that was a really good discussion, a good solid 90 minutes of us reminiscing about that game and also how good it just sort of stacks up still to this day. And yeah, it's great to sort of get to know him a bit more and his other things. He does some other podcasts. If you're a Geelong Cats AFL fan, he's part of the Hoops crew there. And then the Dev Diary podcast he does with the developers in the gaming industry. And so he did one with the CEO of the development team behind Zal. So that was very cool. So check that out. I think that just came out the other day or it's out now. So maybe early access still. I'm not sure, but if it's not out right now, it will be very soon for everyone. And so, no, that was great. So yeah, definitely check that out. We had a really good conversation.
Yeah, I love Paul. He's been on the show a few times, and I think, well, this was many years ago at this point, but we had him on to with a group of people to read a Nintendo fan fiction, and Paul was legitimately scared because he's a teacher, so he doesn't want to be caught reading too much crude material online.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think in the
Yes.
years since he's softened up on that, I don't think he cares as much. So maybe we should have him back. Do a nice little fan fiction. Describe Wario's
Yeah.
farts in great detail.
Um, I think he'd be very good at that. Just from my conversations with him yesterday, like firstly being a teacher as well, but he's a very good podcaster. He knew how to we had one technical issue yesterday. He knew how to sort of keep things going when that was going on. So no, he was very good, and that was a long time coming having the chat with him. So no, really appreciated it.
Yeah, no, we love Paul here.
Yeah,
we really do. Love him
good
very
man.
much.
See him at PAX.
Virtual
would be good.
Would be nice. All right, let's talk about the 1,000-Year Door, Josh. And I thought we'd just start the conversation maybe just with your experience with the original game on GameCube. Whether you picked it up real late, or what's your experiences with that? Because for me, I think I've like literally maybe played the title screen, just testing the Dolphin emulator. I think that's my experience with the original. So, what's your experience with the original game?
Yeah, so I didn't play this like straight away in 2004. Like you, I had a GameCube, and I had one in 2004. But it would have been pretty late, and I didn't pick this one up. But probably about 10 years later, maybe 12 after that, picked it up for pretty cheap when I was beefing up my GameCube collection. And I probably played about 5 hours of it, and just for whatever reason, something else popped up. I just sort of stopped, and so I sort of like I came into it sort of like, okay, I remember Rogueport, I remember the first couple of chapters, but then after that, I don't really know what happens, and so been pretty cool to sort of take that next step, because I think I just really like, I don't know. Having played Paper Mario on NSO, the 64 version a couple of years ago, I really sort of fell in love with that game, and just was really excited to sort of, when I heard this remake was coming out, like I'm really keen to play this again and give it the proper time. So this has been a bit of a hype game for me now for 8 months, I reckon, ever since they announced it middle of last year, or late last year. So yeah, it just lives up to everything that you sort of hear in terms of it being the best one in the series, and the other ones taking that different direction, and it doesn't quite feel the same. And I don't know, I'm playing this, and it's like I just love the leveling up mechanics, the time based mechanics that you go through. It's something so simple but done really well, that has more complexity than you probably do think initially. Like there's not just timing to get extra bonus attack and to defend better. There's ones where you got like your stylish moves where you can actually press A again at a certain time and get extra attacks doing that. And so, there's a lot there to sort of, be sort of skilled at, because you've got different characters, different attacks for each of those characters. And so, if you really want to master this game, you're really going to have to sort of concentrate and make sure you're on top of it all. So, that on top of the actual writing of it, I don't know, it's Nintendo being really cheeky and in the most innocent way they can be, but it's really sort of endearing and sort of you fall in love with the characters. Just everything about Paper Mario and what it can be. I think it's done perfectly in this game in particular. So I'm probably about 8 hours in now. I'm further than what I was last time, and just really, really loving it. And it feels like a brand new game really from this point onwards.
Yeah, well, I guess it is, which is cool.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to go back to a game you haven't picked up in years, and it feels really special to get past that part you might have been stuck on, or maybe you just decided to, jump off. There's been a few games where, like, I've finally gone and finished it. It's like, oh, thank God. It's like a little bit of weight off your chest in some ways. Not because, like, you've got to play and finish every single game you start, but usually it's for games that you do really enjoy and you fall off for whatever reason, whether it's the latest or greatest coming out, or something, a life event happens or whatever. But Yeah, I can imagine that would be the case for you too with Thousand Year Door. Because oh my god, there's more story and characters beyond this point. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And how about
Yeah.
it for you? What's your background with it?
My background is that I've always it's always been one of those Nintendo games I've always looked at. I really need to play that. Really need to play that.
Mm,
Looking at prices as far as like secondhand copies go, it's like a $200 game on GameCube. I was just looking around just to see if
they're
prices
going
have
down.
dropped. They've dropped a little bit, maybe like 40, 50
Yep.
bucks. It's gone down.
Yep.
You can get a copy. Just like the average I'm looking at just on like the Google shopping page, just typing it in real quick. It's about 200 bucks probably if you're looking for a copy. Um, it was like pretty solid around 250 Australian. So that's
Yeah.
not too bad. It kind of because for a lot of people there wouldn't be much reason to really get the GameCube version over the Switch version. Obviously, it's like the original and playing on GameCube with the controller and the nostalgia. That's all there. Obviously, playing at 60 frames a second if that's really important to you, you can go and play on GameCube. But yeah, the Switch one, like RPGs, especially like bright, colorful ones, they're just meant to be played like on a nice OLED screen, handheld. Like
I can
it's
only
just
imagine how good this looks on an OLED screen. My OG Switch is probably not quite cutting it for me, but I might try that. I might pop the game card into Michaela's OLED and just see how that looks. That would look amazing. God, Rogueport or even Chapter 2, the sort of rainbow forest background. I think that would be popping in the OLED. That would look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I mean the game does look awesome, and I
Yeah.
think I can't even tell just off of just looking at the game, but apparently the game like running handhelds running at like 640, so it's running at like a bit below what just like the main resolution of the Switch is, but it still looks fantastic. You can't really tell. Maybe it's just the colors doing all the work there, which is really good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really enjoying the game. I haven't played it much. I've played it like just like 2 sittings. I didn't get to get into it over the weekend, but the Thursday release did give me a little bit more time, that extra day, which was good. It does feel weird playing a new game on a Thursday. Don't know. Take a little bit for me to get
I'm
used
convinced.
to it.
I'm all for this now. I just extra day. I don't know. It's for me covering my podcast. I think just helps having the extra day to sort of play it before we talk about it, because I try to line up new game releases to have a recording that weekend to talk about it. So, but for selfish reasons, I like it having the extra day. Had switching it up. Daniel in our Discord sort of mentioned, it sucks because you got to go to bed because we've got work the next day. It's a Friday the next day, and so you probably want to keep playing, but no, we've got to be responsible adults and go to bed and get up for work on time. So yes, that is probably the one slight little drawback with it all. But yeah, it's the other thing is you think it's the weekend, you feel like it's a Friday still. I'm sure that will not feel as much over time, but I'm here for them. Keep it coming, I'd say.
Yeah. Well, Josh, he doesn't care about responsibilities. He just stays up all night and plays it. So that's all right. It seems like it's reviewing pretty well too. I'm just checking the Metacritic, 88 on Metacritic. So
pretty good.
Kind of to be expected. It's like you know what the game is leading into it. You just hope that they don't stuff it up and it works and it doesn't crash and all the technical stuff. But it was interesting that the trademark came out and it was trademarked like June last year. So they've been sitting on this, it seems like, for a long time. And I don't know if you noticed, but something strange, like the copyright on the title screen still says 2004, which I thought was strange. Obviously, the original game was released and copyrighted for that year, but it's just interesting that the remake wasn't
Well, it's
changed.
the same game, isn't it? Like in terms of title as well. They haven't called it remake or remastered or HD.
Well, that's right, yeah.
Still Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. So it's like, they haven't added the year in brackets because I don't think that's part of the copyright. So I think it's technically the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be, I guess. Yeah, they got the trademark. They've kept it up to date, I assume, and yeah, it's just strange because even like say
it is. Yep, 2004. Yeah, at the bottom.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But even like remakes like Pokemon, whether it was Fire Red or Leaf Green, they all said like they had like on the title screens from like the year the original was released to like the current year, which I always
Yeah.
paid attention to, always found interesting. But yeah,
Yeah, I
this
always
is
like
like
that stuff.
there aren't many remakes of games that just keep the name, especially like in the Nintendo side of things where usually it is like HD or something at the end or at the start. They do make it a little bit different, but they are trying to really like. There's no indication that this is a remake when it comes to like Nintendo's marketing or the naming or anything.
No,
They are just like, look, it's a
no,
new game. This isn't a remake. This
it's
is
a
a
new
brand new thing.
game.
But I
Spend your
bet you
money,
like,
guys.
yeah, absolutely. I bet you most people don't know that it's something that released back in 2004.
I think it's
It's just
genius. I think, yeah.
yeah, why not?
You don't need to add remake or remaster to it. I think maybe sometimes people might see, okay, it's an old game, it's not going to be as good, and they might skip it, or or they feel like maybe it's overpriced or something like that. Just if people don't know, they don't know. Just call it the same thing. Um, I'm really curious to see if it sells more because of this. Because what Origami King sold like 3.5 million or something like that. So if it can outdo Origami King and easily get to 4 or something, be their best selling game in the series, then hell yeah, just keep calling games the same name and don't add HD or remaster to it. That's the way to go.
Yeah, I do wonder whether this will be like a tipping point for them, whether if they're looking for sales to see whether it goes back to an RPG, because I don't know, because really
Yeah,
like this was the last RPG. They did 2 RPGs, and all of the rest have been different. They've used different battle systems, different mechanics. Everyone sort of changed. They used like the sticker mechanic for a fair while there. So really, like it hasn't really been an RPG series. I think Superstar Saga came out, was it 2003? So it was like a pretty similar time to this. So it seems like Alpha Dream sort of took the baton for the RPG series when it came to Mario and Luigi, and Intelligent Systems went, all right, we'll try and just like mix it up every single time and play more into the paper mechanic when it comes to like Super Paper Mario, when you can go from 2D levels to 3D levels, all of that. Don't know.
yeah. They Yeah, that's right. Because they really Super Paper Mario is so weird, isn't it? Because it's got some of those elements, doesn't it? That you see, you got moments where you're Bowser in this game, and then Super Paper Mario's, similar sort of moments with the platforming and destructing of things. But yeah, it's that weird tangent that they kept moving on, and yeah, you're right. It just probably doesn't quite feel the same. I feel like Origami King was the slight reversion back to it because it got so close, and it could have been. I think that's people's biggest gripe with Origami King is the actual battling and the circles and twisting and all that, which was creative. I'll give them that, but whether people wanted that was another thing. I kind of didn't mind it in the end. Probably didn't quite itch it the way that people wanted the itch to be scratched, and so um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, if it sells really well, and Nintendo's in their room sort of working out why it sold so well. Surely they talk about the facts that, it's a turn-based RPG and people really like that. Or I don't know, maybe, yeah, maybe they don't and they're completely oblivious to it all. But, you know, I'd like to see the next one in 4 years from now because they've been pretty well every 4 years. Let's go back to, that turn-based style. Let's, really amp up the story again and, I don't know, take some liberty with the character designs and make it, a bit more creative like you see in this game because, Origami King doesn't have the unique characters. It's just, just sometimes just a bomb and nothing else changing with it, not wearing a bandana or has a scar or anything like that. It's pretty, it's just a bomb just following Mario around. So, yeah, just want to see more of what this was back in the day, back on a new modern system, see what they could actually come up with.
Yeah, and it's such a good template just for an RPG too. Like bright, colorful, just great writing, and just the idea of going through an adventure and getting companions as you progress. Like that's just a great idea for like multiple series. You could do obviously it works great for Mario, But you could do it for like Pokemon, Zelda. Like, there's a bunch of series where it actually
Yeah,
work really well. Just making
that's
into a
right.
turn-based game where you're coming across companions, and by the end of it, you can switch and match depending on strategies and all of that. Like, imagine a Pokemon game where I don't know, you do a quiz at the start, like the Mystery Dungeon spin-off games, where you choose the Pokemon you want to be, and so I don't know, you get Charizard. You're going through the game as Charizard, and then you find like just all these companions along the way. Some could be just mandatory. Some could be like ones you get through side quests, and you could
Yeah,
potentially miss them. I think that'd be awesome. Like, and you
that'd be
can
very
do the
fun.
same with Zelda as well. And
Such
I don't
potential.
know. So it's
Yeah.
just, it's just great that Paper Mario is sort of returning to it, because we don't get the Alpha Dream games anymore. I don't know, on 3DS. I think people lost interest in them just because they kind of lost just visually. They were so much more appealing to me personally, just as sprites, instead of like the more 3D-ish look they went for on the 3DS. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
That
think
that a
people
lot.
sort
They
of
released a lot, didn't they? They had like remakes and like there was a period there where there was a lot of Mario and Luigi coming out, wasn't there?
yeah, and like yeah, towards the end it was like they were sort of filling in those gaps, kind of like what they're doing with Thousand Year Door now, but with they did the Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story remake on 3DS.
Mm.
Um, which is cool. They added like different story modes to it as well. So I think there was like Bowser's Minions for Superstar Saga, and I can't remember the one for. Maybe it might have been the other way around. I can't quite remember which one was which, but um, yeah, do miss the Alpha Dream. They went bankrupt. Nintendo should have stepped in and helped them, but
Didn't
maybe it
bail
was
them out.
no, I
Yeah.
didn't. Said
They
no.
usually
You guys are fucked. You're on
you
your own.
guys are you guys are gone. No thanks. Yeah, because what yeah, you had Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions late 2017. Then a year later
Mhm.
they had Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey, and then 2 years before that, Paper Jam. Yeah. So yeah, when there's two subsequent releases year after year for a Mario and Luigi game, such a smaller series, bit of saturation there, isn't it?
Yeah, I remember Paper Jam. I got turned off that game for the reviews, and listening
Yeah.
to people talk about it, it sounded like there was like sections. I haven't played it, but I just remember hearing I think it's Jared Petty talking about it at IGN at the time, and he was saying like there's certain sections of the games where you got to like find 20 toads, and that happens a few times in the game. Well, that sounds kind of miserable. It doesn't sound like fun, so gave it a miss. But
Yeah. Okay.
eventually, when I work through the Paper Mario series after Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario, I'll probably actually move on to some of these less favorable games just to make up my own mind. Because in some ways, if I listen to reviews, all the some of my favorite games I could have been turned off with like not very favorable reviews.
Kid Icarus.
Like yeah, exactly. Kid Icarus would have been 100% one of them if I listened to it. But even Gravity Rush, I remember that got like a 7.5 on IGN, which is a good score. That means good when it comes to IGN. But yeah, everyone's like, "Oh
Yeah.
man, this
Not
game's meant
amazing,
to
is
be
it?
awesome." It's not amazing. It's just a good game. God, God forbid. Uh, no, that's why review scores are a bit frustrating. I personally like review scores. I like being able to sum it up with a number, but at the same time, some people take them way too seriously. Like, it has to be an 8 or above. It's like there's a big scale there. It could be a good game, could be a bad game, but you still have fun with it because the
Yeah.
gameplay is still enjoyable, but the story sucks and the graphics keep on disappearing when you're playing. I don't know.
Yeah. I
Uh,
don't. I think I think I like Metacritic more because it sort of amalgamates all the reviews, because I think sometimes you got certain people who might play a game and it's maybe not quite their favorite genre or something, but they've got to play it. I feel there's probably times that might happen, and scoring might happen accordingly from that with a touch of a
mm,
personal bias. But if you bundle enough of them together, that Metacritic is probably a pretty good indication, isn't it, of what a game should be like? But again, um, I think Endless Ocean's a good example that was so far ranging in reviews and the Metacritic score, but it depends what you really want, I suppose, out of a game. Um, and yeah, if you listen to them all the time, you're probably going to, yeah, like you said, miss out on some good experiences.
mm. Yeah. So don't know whether I made the right decision or not. Only this is when I was in high school, so I only had a certain amount of money to work with. So you got to
Yes,
make those
that's right.
decisions, don't you? Got to
Correct.
listen to
Correct.
got to listen to chumps talk about it and make your own mind up. But
Mm.
I find this interesting. I'm just on Metacritic now, and I see that like in the latest critic reviews, Well Played and Australian outlets up there, they gave Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door a 65, which I found it's just
That's low.
it's just pretty low compared to the rest, which is
It's
interesting.
very low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think let's read it. Let's read Well Played, just because it's an outlier. Because a lot of places give Mario games high scores, usually because they're good. But this one's interesting. I'll just read it. Who's the reviewer? It doesn't tell me on Metacritic. Sorry, Well Played writer, but I can't give you credit right
Hennessy.
now.
Hennessy.
Nathan Hennessy. It doesn't tell me on my screen, but thanks for that, Josh. So this is a quote: "Where most Mario games will leave you smiling, leave a smiling impression between bolts of frustration, this Paper Mario entry wants you to be laughing out loud as well. I'm just worried that the humor might not carry everyone to the finish line in light of repetition, laborious backtracking, and uninteresting combat. There's no denying that this is a remake is polished to the smoothest presentable sheen, leaving a first impression I still love, even though it burned me out long before the credits." So yeah, oh, that's fair enough. I've barely touched the game, so I'm yet to make up my mind on it. I'm still in chapter 1, so I've still got a long way to go.
You're early on. Yep.
I'm very early, so
Yeah, I think in summary, they didn't like the combat's lacking and slow, barely presents a rewarding challenge, troubles are often not worth the bother, and design emphasis on backtracking and repetition.
I think
So,
one
yeah.
thing I'm just thinking about, just as far as like everybody gushing over the RPG system. I don't know how sort of rewarding the like getting experience and leveling up is. I don't think that's all that rewarding in these games. Basically, like I forgot what they call it, but getting 100 of the
Star
gems,
coins.
the balls, star coins, getting 100 of them to level up, and then you choose what stat you want to increase. I don't know if I really like that. I kind of preferred how I think in the Mario and Luigi games, how when you level up, all your stats increase, but then you get the select your bonus. I kind of preferred that. I know Mario RPG did it this way as well, but yeah, I think I definitely prefer the Mario and Luigi way, where leveling up it sort of just it feels like it matters. But but in these games it feels like you're just like, all right, I really need health, and I kind of really need I need all of these things, but I can only choose one. So you just end up like sort of trying to balance it every time you level up. So I'm not like 100% wild about it. I do need to put more
Really?
time into it to
Okay.
make my decision
Um,
up about that. Yeah, but
I find it interesting because I was talking to Paul about it on our show on Nintendvania, and he said he just absolutely goes to health points. He just absolutely makes sure he's a tank. Doesn't care as much about the flower points
mm,
or the badge points, and absolutely just as long as I'm alive and can still whack and jump, I'm gonna like defeat you. So, um, which is totally different to what I did. I found I did one level up of my health points, and then I haven't done it next again. I've leveled up many times since, and I haven't bothered doing it because I've firstly felt like I need to do the flower points to like get some really strong attacks and like do some like killer like cutthroat kills on multiple enemies at once sometimes to really sort of cut
mm,
through. But then like getting the badge points up, there's like badges to help with your attack. Sorry, with your health. There's one that gives you 5 + 5
yeah,
health anyway. And so I've just leveled up and that wasn't, um I'm still up after doing that. Yeah, there's so I find some really good variety with the badges and what you can actually find and do to sort of tailor it to the way you want to sort of really attack or play this game. So really interesting that you yeah maybe not quite as I get that it's very simple overall, but yeah maybe not quite for everyone.
yeah. It's not that it's simple, because I'm not like, oh, I need a big complex leveling up system when it comes to it. But I think it's just it feeling rewarding. It doesn't feel that rewarding to me when it's like, all right, you leveled up. Now it's time to get a small increase in one stat. I think that's the problem I have with it. I would like just to say
Okay.
like, a slight increase in all stats, maybe just +1, but then one stat, then you can add to that. Because for me as well, like playing a Paper Mario 64, same system in that where I go for the health to start off with, but as you progress through the game, you do need to use those flower points. Otherwise, you're just like
100%.
doing chip damage, just jumping and hammering. So you need to be using
It's
some
not
flower
fun.
points.
Not fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you've only got like what you start off with, you're doing like 2 attacks and that's it. Then you're trying to heal and stuff in battle and it doesn't work out. And the badges as well, they're important because they allow you to like respec as you go throughout the game, depending on the challenges you get to. Of course, like all the abilities and stuff, but like you said, how it's like +5 health or +5 flower points, you're able to like shift them around and use them that way. And I kind of feel like if you don't put into the badge points, you're really missing out on a lot the game has to offer as far as being able to be flexible and add to your arsenal when it comes to the battling. So I don't know. I'd like that to sort of progress as you're going throughout the game instead of like missing out on health or missing out on what have you. But like I said, I got to play a lot more. But this is my experience from the 64 Paper Mario as well that I'm dragging from. But yeah,
it's pretty well the same. It's the same thing. This is one aspect that's barely changed from that game to the other, whereas other aspects of the Paper Mario series drastically change in terms of this sort of stuff. So how do you find the leveling up? Because it's every like you get 100 XP every time, and that's when you level up, and it feels slow at first because you probably do 2 battles, and after playing Pokemon for so many years, you're like, I should be leveled up by now, and it hasn't occurred. But it's kind of like less frequent at the start, but then becomes more frequent overall because it's not like when you get to level 97 in Pokemon, to get to the level 98, you got to get a lot of XP, that kind of thing. Whereas this is just 100 every time, and it's a lot more consistent after that. So I enjoy that difference, I suppose, and I don't know. I find the actual things to upgrade sort of do make that difference, especially flower points. If you can really like getting +5 every time and really sort of getting an extra plus, maybe up to 2 extra really good attacks is a big difference for me anyway, leveling up.
Yeah, massive. Yeah. What are you saying about the flower points, how it's, or not the flower points, the star coins as you're leveling up and there's 100 each time.
There might be coins, there might be something else, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't remember just off the top of my head, but
yeah.
It is interesting how like just the game's scaled, because in most RPGs, as you're leveling up, the amount of experience you need to get just increases, and that's how the game sort of scales. But in these games, you're sort of going throughout the game, you're just getting the same amount of experience the whole time as you're going through it. You're getting like 3 or 6 or 8 if you're really lucky, but you're getting like the same as you're going through. And if you go back to an earlier area with weak enemies, you just get nothing. So that's like an interesting. So it makes you like have to like progress through the game and battle the enemies as you're going through it. You can't go back to a area and just grind on weaker enemies.
Yeah, don't skip enemies either. Just take everything you can in this one. Yep.
Yeah, the very first Mario RPG I ever played was Mario and Luigi Partners in Time on DS, and I thought, me and my friend Adam, we both had the game. We were like, this game is so hard, like it was impossible. Like we would spend like a week on bosses, like, and when we finally beat a boss, we're like, oh my god, we're just like sweating, wiping our brows. And then our friend Jordan, he picked up the game and he just flew through it. We're like, what the hell? And the difference was he was battling enemies as we're going, and we're like just running away from them. This is like when so we must have been at the bosses just like severely underleveled. I got no idea what it was. I was like a real kid. I think that would have been like the first RPG I played that wasn't Pokemon. So it was interesting when I beat the game. And it doesn't save once you beat the final boss. You just get put right in front of the final boss. And this is before I played a Zelda game as well. And I was like so disappointed that there's no post-game stuff to go and do afterwards. because I was used to Pokemon where you beat the Pokemon leagues. Oh, look, you can go and catch the legendaries. You can go and verse the
Just
battle
keep
tower.
going,
You can go and do this stuff.
keep leveling up.
But yeah, that's my first RPG where I'm like, oh, well, that's it. I did it, I guess.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
kind of sucks because you don't really pick it up after that. You got no real motivation to continue on. Yeah,
That's
just more of the
that's
same.
always something I hated about Zelda too. When my
Yes.
first Zelda game, Twilight Princess, when I beat the final boss and it just puts me right back in front of him, I'm like, might as well just saved here and just wiped my hands and that was it.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
might as well
I don't know.
just show me the new game start screen, really.
In some ways, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I remember being disappointed by that as a kid.
Yeah.
If I had any knock for Twilight Princess back when I was a kid, it was that. But yeah,
Yep.
no, I'm looking forward to playing more Paper Mario, man. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad that
it is fun.
it's just gorgeous to look at. I went from Paper Mario 64, playing it on my phone, to playing like the Thousand Year Door remake on Switch, and my God, I'm like, this thing is gorgeous. Like it just looks
Yeah.
awesome. And actually, another thing I noticed too, like the music, there is no chill music. Everything is just it's like just bombastic and just full of energy. Even like the hub area, I'm like, my God, this is like exercise music the whole time. Like there's no chill. There's no chill in this
No.
game. Everything's just so happy
Yeah,
and just full on.
it's good. It's I think Wacko Jacko made the comments in the chats that not too much has really happened. And that's true. There's not really, but they've redone the music and the music slaps in this game. Outside of the updated visuals, I think there's a new warp world to get to places easier. There's a Grandmaster Toad to help you learn some battle mechanics and some, I think, 1 or 2 new bosses. But the music slaps here, and I really like the like you said, Drew. Just sort of, it's a lot more upbeat and intense, but some of it's really catchy, and it does change from chapter to chapter. So there's not too much one of the same repeating on last, nothing like that. So I love it. Yeah, that's just another great part of the game.
Yeah, before the game came out, I was just on Twitter and my phone was connected to my phone. Oh, sorry, to my car stereo. I think I was on the farm. I was shutting a gate, and then like I sat back in the car. I got a bit of time, so I just like swiped through some Twitter, and somebody said, "Oh my God, the Paper Mario soundtrack leaked, and the opening battle theme is absolute slaps." So I just click on the video, open it up, just blares through my car stereo. I'm like, this is awesome. Like it had me bopping. I was playing it for like the next 15 minutes just as I was driving around the farm. Yeah, like that battle music in like the opening area is just awesome. Like it's like a sort of a remix of just the Mario theme, but got a bunch of other extra stuff added in. So, don't know, I'm a big fan of the music. There's no chill. So if you're looking for like a bit of a downtime in between like the big battles and stuff, man, she's all go. She's all go.
All good.
Don't know.
Yep. But yeah, what did you think in terms of what you think this will mean in the next entry in like 4 years from now? Are you like hoping, like another remake? What if they did Super Paper Mario done up again? Like they've done the original Paper Mario on NSO now. Would you like to see a remake of that? What are you thinking going forward?
I'm not sure because I've got to play through this one yet, and I still haven't played Super Paper Mario. So look, when it comes to like the Paper Mario series, I'm far from an expert on it. But I do know like the last couple of entries haven't really sort of hooked me as far as like the ideas and the mechanics they come up with. So I'm not opposed to them doing something different from the Thousand Year Door or not going back to an RPG series, but just something where it is like a fun gameplay hook and they take advantage of what makes Paper Mario special, which is, I think, honestly, for me, it's the writing, it's the characters, and it's the allies you meet along the way. So I think that's a great formula. It's just like what they decide to do with everything in between when it comes to like the battles and the mechanics and what you're actually doing. Because when it came to like stickers or cards or whatever, when it came to like the 3DS and Wii U versions, it didn't make any sense like why you would want to battle, because if a random encounter comes up, you don't want to use your stickers or your cards or anything like that, because they're a disposable resource, but you're not getting anything for the battles. There needs to be
Yeah.
something that encourages you to battle. And I know that
Yeah.
you do get stickers in that from doing battles, but it's not going to be the ones you want necessarily. You don't want to use the good ones that you've picked up.
Yeah.
Whereas when it's like an RPG series, it's just like, a Goomba runs into you. There's a Para Goomba. There's a Goomba with a spike on its head, and there's a normal Goomba. There's enough sort of thinking and strategy you need to come up with. It's like, all right, I don't jump on the spike. I've got to I can't use the hammer on the Para Goomba because he's flying, and it's like enough thinking to get you to actually come up with a strategy. And when you beat it, you get experience, you level up, you get your stats to go up as well. So there's like there's a loop there, whereas I don't think any of the other Paper Marios have really succeeded on. So it's important that they just get a good loop going, whether it's an RPG leveling up system or not. It's just important that they get back to that.
Yeah.
That's what I believe anyway.
Yeah, and I think you made a great point before with Mario and Luigi. If that's out of the picture and that was the more traditional turn-based stuff, why can't this now Paper Mario going forward take on a bit of that, absorb some of those mechanics a bit more, and just be the one going forward? Because I think that's a lot of people associate the Mario and Luigi very similarly to what the Paper Mario series has and was. Let's meld them together and bring out the best of what people love most out of those, and I think you're in for a pretty good time, really, if you do that.
Yeah, and I still feel like the battles were more fun in the Mario and Luigi games. Like, I feel like all the items and everything were a lot more fun. Like I said, I've still got a lot to go in Thousand Year Door, so I could be just completely wrong on this. But I remember, like, in Superstar Saga and Partners in Time, you'll get like the Koopa shells, and you've got to like just really nail the timing, and like you kick the shell as Mario, it bounces off the enemy, it comes back to Mario, and you use A, B, and you're kicking it back and forth, and it gets faster and faster and faster and faster, and you just and you have to get the timing right. But when you use it, a lot of the items I'm using in this, it sort of just happens. There's no timing when it comes to like using the fire flower and stuff. Which when I first used it, I'm like, yeah, when I first used it, I'm like, oh. Because like in Mario and Luigi, you'd be like, you get a fire flower, and then you just mush the A button to do as many fireballs as possible.
As much as you can. Yeah, I was surprised. I forgot about that. Like, yeah,
so there's like
be some sort of button press.
So there's like a lot more gameplay in Mario and Luigi. And I feel like the jumping on the enemies and using the hammer felt a lot more responsive. And I haven't played Mario and Luigi for a long time, so this could be just how I remember it. But I remember it being more satisfying to play. So don't know. That's just my thoughts anyway. Before really getting into the game.
Fair enough.
Yeah. What about you? What do you see in the future for the Paper Mario series? Would you like it to go back to how the Thousand Year Door is presenting it, or would you like to have another go at trying a new gameplay mechanic, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I really would love to see a new one now. Every 4 years, pretty well, roughly, we've had a new game. I mean, this is the least new game we've had in a way because it's a remake. But I would just I love this sort of writing. The battle mechanics I really like. I think they can definitely improve on them, but I think they're really, really still solid and fun. And so, I'd love to see a new original story like this. In a more bigger world. I think I saw some screenshots of like I remember how big Origami King was in certain areas. Like it's a lot more open, whereas this is a lot more like you're going up and down a corridor from left to right. There is a bit of backtracking, which does get a little frustrating sometimes. But if they can, have the same story in a more bigger world, bring some cool elements from the Mario and Luigi series, a bit more interactive. I think, this can be a really fun series that could get, a lot bigger than what it is now. I still feel it's like somewhat a little bit still niche, not quite as big as it could be. If they made the right game and did it the right way, I feel like this could be like the next Luigi's Mansion, sort of series to sort of really get up there and really be really fun and popular and that just means more of these and more frequent ones or better quality, hopefully, games. And so, um, yeah, Wacko Jacko said it in the chat. These games have been all over the place in terms of actual experience. I think you look at a lot of other series and it's been very, a lot more consistent and more of an evolution. Whereas this is just sort of, the two games, first two are the same, and then every other time they've sort of experimented with things, tried things out. I don't know, and it hasn't quite worked out the way fans really wanted it to go. Probably Nintendo as well in terms of sales. So um, I think they've got a real opportunity to just sort of, definitely, sort of keep, the evolution, keep trying to try new things, but do it in a way that's not going to completely alienate the fan base and make it really hard for them to keep buying these games because more stuff like this, like the Thousand Year Door, is what they're really after at the end of the day.
It'll be so funny if I don't know, this remake just takes off, just does real well in sales. Then Nintendo says, "All right, we're gonna make a new game RPG," and that just does really well. Like, and they sit down in their boardroom like,
Yeah,
we could have just continued doing the exact same thing, but for like 5 games, we tried something new. So we're just going back
yep,
to what we originally done, and that was what was successful.
correct.
That'll
Yep,
be a
yep.
sort of entertaining. I do wonder if like intelligent systems though, like they do want to do something non-RPG with Mario because they're known for Fire Emblem and that is very
Yeah,
that's a strategy RPG. So whether that's like a personal reason for them why they want to try something new, especially with the Mario and Luigi RPG series, sort of concurrent with what they're doing with Paper Mario. I wonder if that was
yeah.
something that was a reason why that studio decided to do what they're doing. But
Could have been a factor for sure. Yeah, because what they're making those games and the WarioWare games as well, aren't they? Rotating in between. So, um, definitely for sure. But there is a thing as you're good at something as a studio for a reason, and if you try these different things, it can work sometimes, but sometimes it doesn't. So, um, yeah, it's a fine thing to balance, really, isn't it?
yeah, so stick what you're good at. Yeah, bloody hell. Oh man, no. So yeah, no, Thousand Year Door. Looking forward to playing more of it. Anything you'd like to say before we move on?
um, it's so fun. Can't recommend it enough for people playing it out. I think for me, it's been my highlight of 2024 for Nintendo so far. I know
Ooh.
I've had some really cool and different experiences this year. A lot of them maybe probably more subdued overall. I don't know. But I really sort of looked forward to this game and really enjoyed what I've seen of it so far, and keen to keep it going and finish it off properly. So um, yeah, don't sit on it if you're on the fence about it. It's a really fun time and you won't regret it.
My favorite Nintendo game so far has been Endless Ocean. So there is
Actual
a
though,
nice spot. It probably is, yeah. Honestly,
yeah, wow, yeah, yeah,
and that's not saying that Nintendo's had a bad year. I actually quite enjoyed Endless Ocean. For the time
yeah,
I played
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Played about 10 hours and I enjoyed it. I really had a lot of fun, playing with you and discovering fish and stuff. But it got to the point where like, yeah, in the story where I was like, all right, you're going to have to scan this many. You're going to have to find all these sea charts. You're going to have to do all this. No, I don't want to do that. This is a very casual game. I don't know if I want to, you're asking too much from me, So
yeah.
I'll leave it there, but I
I
enjoyed my time with it.
I got very frustrated. I did play it for a bit this week. I got very frustrated because I was trying to like build up my scanning and try and like log as many creatures as possible. I just keep finding nothing now, and it's just at that stage now. It's
Yeah.
frustrating. Like I just want to try and explore and like get some help maybe to try and fill in that catalog, and it's not quite happening. So kind of it reached that point for me where it got frustrating. So um, I love the first 10 hours of it and enjoyed it for that reason and how different it was. But yeah, if it wasn't going to be Paper Mario this year, I think another Code. I just really got taken aback by how much I enjoyed that game, and yeah, just how fun that was, and different to what I've played on the Switch really so far. So yeah, it would have been out of those Paper Mario and then another Code for me so far.
Yeah. I really liked Mario vs. Donkey Kong. That was a
Yep,
lot of fun. Beautiful remake. Looks awesome.
yep,
But I think at the end of the day, we really didn't need it. It was a great game on Game Boy Advance, but it looks pretty, it looks nice, it looks modern, all good. I think the biggest disappointment, honestly, was Princess Peach, and it's fun for what it is. But yeah, I think that was probably my biggest disappointment for the most part. Just didn't really engage me that much. You actually fell off of it, didn't you?
I've fallen off of it, and stuff's come up since, and I haven't really felt the motivation to come back onto it. So I suppose for me, it's the same. Yeah, I don't know, just how it is. I enjoyed my time with it enough, but yeah, maybe not quite as much as I was probably hoping for.
Yeah, I'm just gonna look at my top. I think I've got a top 5 so far for games that are released this year. I got top 6 finished. These are the games I've finished that have came out this
Yep.
year. So
Yep.
number one for like, I doubt this will stay there, but something else has got to come out that's gonna beat it. Prince of Persia is number 1. Really enjoyed that game. Number 2 is Mario vs Donkey Kong. Number 3 is Pepper Grinder,
Yes.
which I talked
Yep.
about a week or so ago. Number
Yes.
4 is The Cub, which was a really interesting narrative platformer experience. Really, really great game where like you play it with a set of headphones and you're listening to a radio station that's beaming from Mars, and basically civilizations moved to Mars, and you're listening to like a radio station about like what happened to Earth many years ago, and you're playing as basically like a mutant who's able to survive on Earth, and you're
Okay.
running away from humans who have returned to Earth and want to basically capture you to do research on you. So it's a really interesting sort of narrative experience. That was pretty cool. It was a sequel to Golf
Okay.
Club Wasteland, if anybody's seen or played that one. Number 5 is Little Kitty Big City.
Hell yeah.
Liked it enough. It was fun. It's cute. Nice little couple of hours experience. And your number 6 was Princess Peach Showtime, which was interesting enough, but not my favorite game.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So some of the indies helping out.
Yeah. Really, I really keen to play Hellblade too. Hellblade 2. Have you seen any of like the divisive sort of reviews and all that? Some people
A
hate
little.
it, and some people love it, and it's really
Paul
interesting
talked
because
about it on the show. Yeah.
yeah, interesting. I'm keen to hear him talk about it when I listen to Nintendonia tomorrow. But yeah, it's interesting because I've out of like the respected reviewers that I follow, like on their respective podcasts, some people have very good like discussions and criticisms about that what they liked. They don't just hate it because they're anti Xbox or whatever. They've got like great
Yeah.
criticisms towards why they don't like it, and then on the opposite side as well, I've heard like great sort of use cases of why they really like it. So I'm keen to get into it. I was hoping I was going to get to it on the weekend, but it didn't happen. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
keen to try that one too.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Mm. Man, it's tough times out there.
Tough times. I mean,
Tough.
2024 is not 2023 in terms of gaming, though, is it? It's 2023 was
How could
just
it be?
absolutely out of this world. So this year was always going to, I suppose, disappoint people in terms of comparisons. So, but yeah, like you said, doesn't mean it's been a bad year or anything like that. Just
No,
different
definitely not.
experiences to
No.
have. Yeah.
Well, I just think about the amount of games that came out last year by this point. Like, Tears of the Kingdom was out at this point. I would have been just deep into playing that this time last year, which
We had
is
Fire Emblem
crazy.
Engage. We had Kirby. We had Metroid Prime Remastered Shadow Dropped. We had Bayonetta Origins. We had
Oh, man.
Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp, and then we had Tears of the Kingdom.
What
Unreal. What an opener for a year.
Yeah, that was insane.
Incredible.
I don't know. We have to do a study.
then,
We have to do a study sometime. Like really compare 2017 to 2023.
Oh,
Like
yeah, we
what
should.
came out
And
on
then-
top of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they did NSO Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. February last year. Yep. Unreal.
Oh.
Unreal. So good. There's so many
I was
good
thinking about
games there.
Mario. Yeah, I was thinking about Mario Wonder the other day, like, because some games, like, I really enjoy them. They come, they go. I forget about them. And Mario Odyssey might even be one of those where, like, I have great memories of it, but I don't know if it's my favorite Mario game. It's one of those ones I really need to go back to just to sort of refresh my memory a bit. But Mario Wonder, like, I think back to that really fondly last year. I had so much fun with it.
Mm.
Like, 100% of it in the week, and don't know, I absolutely loved it. So I just wish you could have save files in the goddamn game. I don't know why you can't. I wanted to turn around and like just start a new save file and jump straight back into it, but I couldn't. You got to make a new. You got to have like a different Switch profile, similar to Animal Crossing.
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah, I
oh,
haven't even tried.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I finished
frustrating.
it, but I
So
want to
100,
like I need to get
yeah,
back into it and do the unlock all the levels and do all the unlockables and things like that. I just finished it and yeah, just sort of it was done and sort of next thing, but I really do want to get back to it because yeah, that was very fun too.
yeah. Oh man, I love that game. I want to go back and.
Pikmin 4, man. There was Pikmin 4 last year.
Yeah,
Super Mario
yeah.
RPG.
No.
Man,
See, I
Detective
didn't think there was
Pikachu
really a problem.
Return.
Oh, that was
Everybody
the
won to
creme de crop.
Switch.
Yeah,
Exactly.
a lot of games. Yeah.
A lot of games.
When you compare last year to this year, it's like, yeah, it puts it into perspective a bit more. But honestly, I don't feel like this year's that bad. It's not too bad. Like, it's not very exciting, but we have games.
It's
They're
fine.
fun. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like the best value. Like a lot of them, like Peach and all that's kind of like, I don't know if it's worth $80, but
Yeah, I look
you
at
know,
it and it's a lot of things for really hardcore Nintendo fans to get their teeth into, but for the more sort of casual, like that they pick up only the big games, what you see in the top 10 in terms of best sellers on the Switch. There's nothing really so far to indicate there'll be anything like that, and so it's just one of those things, isn't it?
mm.
It's a little bit slower. There'll be
Yeah,
no
we're
new
sort of looking
Pokemon this
towards.
year, no new Zelda, no new Mario.
Mm.
Probably it's just going to be a quieter in between year.
It is going to be fascinating what they come up with at that Nintendo Direct in June. Like, are we going to be
Mm.
like, all right, like here's the big game that's going to try and push more Switches into the wild. They still want to sell 13 million of them apparently, so they got to give her some
There'll be
motivation.
stuff. There'll be collector's editions. There'll be some games. Don't worry. Yeah, that was good. We had some questions in the Discord, didn't we? I think Eggman Zach had asked about. There was a rumor just the other day about once the successor launches, or they're talking about like there'll be two ports next year. This rumor says for the original Switch, so not the Switch 2, whatever it's going to be called. And one of them is going to be a 3DS game. One of them is going to be a Wii game. Was that the other one? A Wii game and then a 3DS game?
Yep, I'll read his question if you want.
Yeah, read
Eggman
it out.
says there are rumors of a GameCube game and a 3DS game getting remastered / remade for 2025 for Switch, not the successor. What games do you want them to be? So for GameCube, like this would be. There's a lot of GameCube games we could jump on. We've got Wind Waker, Sunshine that got ported. Obviously, we just had Thousand Year Door. I think personally for me, I think it would be awesome to get the Pokemon games on something that isn't the GameCube, is on modern hardware, Pokemon Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness. Also be great for the second-hand market to get those prices down, because $500 copy of Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness is a little bit much, but I'd love to see those brought over. I just with the Pokemon company, I think it comes with like a lot of other things. They can't just port it. It would have to be like, people would expect it to be Pokemon home compatible and all of this stuff. So it comes with a few sort of annoyances, and there's a lot of compatibility with like GameCube and with Game Boy Advance and linking your Ruby and Sapphire game. A lot of that stuff was built into the experience, so probably be a bit harder unless they just port it over and just say, look, it's the story and that's it. Maybe something similar to just Nintendo Switch Online versions of Pokemon Stadium, where it's like, look, you just can't do it. Sorry.
Yep.
Maybe that's just what they do. So yeah, I'd like to see them. But then there's like a bunch of interesting games too. Like we haven't had Star Fox for a long time. I wouldn't like to see the first Star Fox game on Switch to be a GameCube remake, especially since this was
We
like
need a new entry.
a
They've done
weird,
too many
yeah,
remakes, haven't they? In that
yeah,
series.
because yeah, even Star Fox Zero, it's like it may as well have been a remake. Like it was kind of just like a retelling of the story
Yeah,
with
well,
like different
they even
mechanics. But
acknowledged that, didn't they?
yeah,
Yeah.
because you look at Star Fox, is it Assault? I get mixed up with the two different Star Fox games.
You got
Is Assault the
Adventures,
one
which
you're running
was
around?
Dinosaur Planet
Adventures,
used to
yes,
be, and
thank
then
you.
Adventures. Sorry, Assault is the one that was more traditional Star Fox.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. Yeah, because they kind of need maybe not that game exactly. I know it sort of failed. Like that was Star Fox's sort of first attempt to do something different. If that wasn't just an on-rail shooter, but they kind of need to do that. They need to bring the character or the characters more to the forefront. I don't know how you do that. I don't know if that is like an on-foot sort of shooting thing that they did on that, as well as like jumping into the ship. But they need to sort of evolve the series because I think like a lot of kids these days, it's so hard to get them away from Fortnite and everything, and even Nintendo fans like away
Yeah.
from Mario and Zelda and all that. Like, is another on rails Star Fox game going to draw attention? I don't think it will. So they need to reinvent it or just leave it because it's kind of, I hate to say, but it is one of those series where it is just like it's done its thing. It was a big game in the 90s. It was that sort of era as far as those anamorphic sort of animal mascots go. It was an on-rail shooter. It was a great sort of showpiece for Super Nintendo with the FX chip. It was great for the Nintendo 64, bringing it into 3D. But then it sort of floundered on GameCube and wasn't on Wii and shit the bed on Wii U and hasn't really been a relevant series for many, many years. So I hate to say it. I know a lot of people will be like, want to kick me in the balls. And I think a lot of people wouldn't care about the series if it wasn't so prominent in Super Smash Brothers, because that's where you learn to really understand the personalities and get familiar with the characters when they're in that game, because they've got their own moves.
Yeah.
You can see them all the time. And so they've either got to really reinvent it or just do like a Nintendo Switch Online release for the Lilac Wars.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they've got room for one rail shooter in Nintendo's wide array of IP and consistently games getting released. You got Sin and Punishment, which has been dead for a long time now. You got Kid Icarus Uprising, which tried it. We can talk about that later. But Star Fox, they've doubled a little bit outside of it, but I think the rail shooter is what most people like, and I know I think they can really make it fun, and then can really do it in a great way and bring the online aspect to it all, and even have a multiplayer side to it. I know there's so much potential I feel with Star Fox. They just haven't properly tapped into or done it the right way. So I'd love to see it properly done. A really classic game, modern way to do Star Fox. Be so good. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe Nintendo don't know. Starlink. They probably thought that might have been the start of something, but that never really led anywhere. That was the end of the Toys to Life sort of era, wasn't it? And I don't think did too well. So yeah, we shall see. For me though, on the 3DS, I think next year, if they're going to do one, A Link Between Worlds on the 3DS. What do you think of that? I think they have to do that one shortly. That's such a good game. I have not played it, but I've watched Michaela play it, and I really want to play it. But I'm kind of holding out. Like, is all this Twilight Princess, Wind Waker stuff not real? And do we just get a 3DS port of A Link Between Worlds? Because I think that would look really good on updated visuals, and I think they could do it easily for the Switch.
Yeah, I think just straight off the bat, we've already had like a 2D Zelda game remake. So part of me just wants a new one, a new Zelda game,
a new one.
2D.
Yeah,
I'd just love a new one. But
yeah, for sure.
If you're going to remake one, yeah, or just port one, yeah, Link Between Worlds is absolutely amazing. It is such a phenomenal Zelda game, and it came out the same day as 3D World on Wii U. So it was like it was a wonderful day to be a Nintendo fan.
Yeah,
go to the shop,
Stupid.
But
Yeah.
as far as just like what visually stands out more, you got the big HD Mario game. The first HD Mario game to ever come out is multiplayer, all of this stuff. So a lot of my attention first went to 3D World on Wii U, and I don't know if you remember, Josh, but like 3D, well, A Link Between Worlds, it when it first got announced, like the way it looked, it just looked kind of meh, just like in its art style. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's a 2D Zelda game. It's a sequel to Link to the Past, so cool. Can't wait to play it. But eventually,
Yeah, I don't
the
think people
game,
like the look of Link or the characters. I think that was a big thing for people.
yeah, there was like a bit of a thing there, and I could understand why. But
Yeah.
when the game actually came out, there's a bit more development time. I feel like the graphics and just the overall art style of the game improved, and also it just looks so much better on a 3DS in front of you, especially with the 3D on.
Yeah.
It looks like a little diorama. It was so cute and colorful, and I think I ended up like really playing it maybe like a couple of weeks after. Like I started it probably the day it came out, but decided to get into it properly. I remember I was working hospitality and I'll be getting home probably like 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'll pick up the 3DS at the beach house and I'll be playing through it. And by the time I beat that game, dude, I was like, when the credits were rolling, my jaw was just dropped. Like how the story ends up, the bosses, the mechanics, the exploration, it was unreal. It was like, this is one of the best Nintendo games ever. This is one of the best Zelda games ever. And I haven't played it, since the year it came out. It's over 10 years old, which is crazy to think about. But
crazy.
Yeah,
now.
man. If
people
need to play it. I would just recommend this. Go
one of
play
the
it on
underrated
3DS.
Zelda games.
But
I think like how well it reviewed and how many people bought it and people who really talk about it, it doesn't marry up. And so I think it deserves its remake, I feel. And I think that's another reason, like not everyone played it. And so you put it out on Switch. I'm with you. I'd love a new 2D Zelda, but they have these here ready to go. Would they save a new one for the Switch successor? Probably. And so I'd rather take maybe Link Between Worlds on the Switch instead, probably if I had the choice. So I don't know, if I had money to put on it, I'd probably do that new Zelda. We're due for a new Zelda anyway, by that time anyway, next year, definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't know. I really do want Wind Waker on the Switch though. Like just like the fact that the Switch has an OLED screen, I really want Wind Waker because Wind Waker HD. I remember when they first like teased that game. The Wii U, it came out. There was nothing. There was nothing on it. There wasn't much coming to it, and they did a direct where Enuma like came out and announced the game and just said that the game's in development. Here's some screenshots, and that was probably like the time I was most impressed by graphics when it comes to a game. I was like, oh my god, this game looks amazing, and even like looking at it now, it looks absolutely phenomenal on Wii U. So imagine that with like a couple of added bells and whistles here and there, and have on the OLED screen and in your pocket. It'd be awesome.
Yeah. It looks really nice. I always felt it looked a bit oversaturated in my personal opinion. Like I think like the original Wind Waker popped a bit more color wise. So I don't know if they found a way to balance that a bit more, maybe not make it look so washed over like it did on the Wii U. I think I'd be happier. I don't know. Just I look at them both and like I like them both in different ways, and I don't like them both in different ways. And it's just one of those like monkey paw situation. It's better in one way, but not at the cost of this.
No, I think I definitely actually agree with you there. I think they could turn it down a little bit, just the blooming effects when it comes to like the sun and just the light off characters. I agree with you there. Yeah, not to say anything bad about the original. The original is obviously gorgeous as well.
Oh, it looks great. It just pops so nicely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, because my first experience with Wind Waker was seeing it at a friend's house, and he borrowed a GameCube. I think he swapped his PlayStation 2 because they wanted to play a game on each system, so they swapped it. And I went over to the place. I'm like, and he's playing GameCube. I'm like, oh, I asked him what the go is with playing GameCube, and he explained he wanted to play Zelda. So I'm like, oh, cool. And that was the first time I saw Wind Waker. I'm like, this looks amazing. Like all of the GameCube games just blew my mind when it came to graphics. I don't know
Okay.
I played a lot of 64 at this time, so it was like just literally a generational jump.
Massive
So,
jump really from
yeah,
polygons that could poke your eye out to these. No, there's a lot more rounded. It was much
yeah,
better.
yeah, absolutely. So, man, so I guess I still got to pick one 3DS. I don't want to pick Kid Icarus because that is 100% my answer, but I say that every episode, and everyone wants to golf club my head in. So,
No.
well, I would say like in my top three when it comes to 3DS, it is like Kid Icarus and Link Between Worlds, and probably honestly 3D Land. I just wonder
Yep.
whether there's a place for 3D Land on Switch. Because 3D Land was like bite-sized levels where you run through, get to the flag post, and
Yeah.
then 3D World expanded that and made it multiplayer and all of this stuff and just added on top of it. So
It'd be a
probably
good
not,
one to do
honestly.
next year, though. I don't know. I feel like it'd be a good one to do next year. Like, it's not amazing. It's not going to knock everyone's socks off, but it's a release, and it looks better. It's a filler. Between the transition. I don't know. So that might be one, but whether it's sold too well and a lot of
Yeah,
people
it's
played
also
already,
like
don't know.
you got to think about it in the context of next year, where will we get the next 3D Mario
We
game
have
and
the new
Mario
3D
Kart
Mario. That's right.
and
Right.
and a
Yeah,
Mario
that's right.
Sports game potentially? Who knows? They might have one
Probably a
of
lot of that
them.
already. Yeah,
So do we need more Mario? Not really.
probably not.
Yeah, don't know.
Yeah,
There's a lot of
I'm going
3DS
Link
games,
Between
but
Worlds. Yeah.
yeah, I'll go. I'll go Kid Icarus Uprising just to segue to the next bit. So Josh, this is a game
Yes.
I don't shut up about, but you gave it a whirl. So what chapter did you get up to, and how's your experience been so far?
Yeah, I. So yeah, for those who missed out last week, I said I'd start Kid Icarus Uprising because I did promise it when I got my little invitation to come onto the show here. So there was a little skit I did. Drew would only let me into the House of Mario unless I played Kid Icarus Uprising. So I'm living up to that bet or that agreement now. And so I've been playing. Had the game already, so I've been playing on my 3DS, the little stand. This is very important, Drew. Drew. How can you play this game without the stand? This is hard. Okay, I will also say I am left-handed. And so I
Oh, I didn't
want
know
to
that.
hold the stylus in my left hand, but you cannot play this game with the stylus in your left hand. It has to be in the right
Oh, I
because
didn't know you're left-handed. I'm left-handed as well. So
I'm going to pretend I knew that, but I didn't know that either. So there you go. I don't feel bad.
there you
because
go.
you knew I
Oh, we didn't know
wasn't.
each other were left-handed. There you go.
Yeah, do we really know each other, Drew? I don't know. But what?
Guess
So
not.
you got to have the circle pad to move, and
Yes.
then you press the F button to shoot, and then you got to have the stylus to move around, and it tells you to go in circles because it's where the aiming reticle will be. And so me holding this right now with the right hand as the stylus, it feels weird, man. So I've had to sort of like take the extra moment because I want to like left hand it, but there's no circle pad on the other side or the shitty one. It's just not going to be the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's been a
I've never
learning
been
experience for me.
100%. I've never been shut off to the idea that the controls, at very best, are difficult to adjust to. There's no doubt. But that's also a reason why like the idea of it being ported to a console with two sticks and bumpers and shoulder
Yes.
buttons and
Oh,
all of that,
optionality.
it would
Yes.
be very appealing. Because
Correct.
I think the boat came like. Do you remember like the Circle Pad Pro, which everybody called the boat, which like the 3DS
Yeah, the
like
side on.
slotted into? You got that
Yep.
second stick. I remember that came out like very close to Kid Icarus Uprising, if not like a little bit before or a little bit after. It came out with like the launch of Resident Evil Revelations, and
Yep.
that was like the first game to really use that second stick. And I think a lot of people were like, man, can there be an update or something? And Sakurai was like, man, it's not designed to use that second stick. Like it's just, I was like, dude, just chuck it in there. We'll work it out.
You
Please.
probably needed it. But so you're left-handed. So did you struggle
Yeah.
when you first played it?
No, well, the thing is for me, like I'm left-handed, I write in my left hand. But
Yeah.
if I'm not writing with that stylus when I'm playing Kid Icarus or
Yeah.
doing something like that. So I'm just using it on the screen. Like it doesn't bother me. But if I go to write, it won't look very good. I'm not a neat writer in my left hand, let alone my right hand.
Yeah, yeah.
But um, yeah, no, it didn't bother me too much. I remember playing this game. So on my original 3DS, so the small little blue
Mhm.
boy, and I was laying on the couch. I think we had friends and family over, and they were watching a movie on TV. So I was laying on the couch, had a futon out, so I was like laying down with like my neck making a double chin, looking down at the 3DS with like a cable coming for the headphones. Had the stand just on my chest, so
Yeah.
I've got like the worst posture, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, and everybody's just looking at me. I probably look brain dead, but I was actually like really engrossed in like this story. And eventually
So
I
it
got
didn't
used to the
matter.
controls. Yeah. That's why I didn't dabble in
Yeah.
the multiplayer too much. Just because
Yeah.
the controls, I'm like, I don't want to deal with this like turning around and doing all these maneuvers and
Mm.
stuff. I don't want to deal with it for that. But the story, um, I made it that far. But how far did you get in it? Did you do a chapter or two, or how far did you get?
Yeah. I've done the first two chapters. So the first one's really quick, and the second one's a bit more lengthy. But each one's got your boss at the end, and so I the first thing for me that grabbed my attention was how good the 3D is. Like it's really, I don't know, I just like looking at it like
Oh
this is
yeah.
amazing. And like usually like if I play a 3DS game, like after 5-10 minutes, I'm like, "Oh, I'm done. Like I've experienced it, but it's hurting my eyes or like I don't really care too much. So I'll turn it off. But I kept it on the entire time. Like this is like so good. I get to like as you're running around and um, trying to shoot everything as you're on the rail. I really enjoyed that. So, um, the controls are the only thing that were really sort of murky for me because I like the
Mm.
voice acting is really funny. I wasn't expecting it to be so witty and so like so much attitude between Pitt and Palutena, and they're joking about things I wasn't expecting them to do. Like there's some comment about Pitt's like like he would it was some sort of sexual innuendo between him and Palutena. I just wasn't expecting it. I thought it was quite funny actually, and so oh my god, this is like very different for Nintendo. And obviously, if you play any other game on any other console, it's a normal thing. But for Nintendo, made by Nintendo, that's a bit of a different thing to expect. So yeah, so just yeah, just enjoyed that. The high scores. I didn't enjoy as much once you get on the ground, you're running around and trying to move the cursor to move around. That's a little clunky for me. And so
Mm.
when you're in the air and you're flying, I think that was so good. That was like, yeah, I love more of that. I can understand why they brought the sort of the ground invasion stuff when you're on the ground running and trying to do some things. But now the music's great. Love that it's voice acted. More Nintendo games need to be like this, and like they voiced Pit as well, the main protagonist. Like, thank you. Like, just finally, just let these main characters have a bit of a personality and speak and say what's on their mind instead of you know too many of them maybe being a little bit quiet. But yeah, so I'm actually enjoying it more than I thought it would. So
Oh,
I
cool.
I can kind of see where you're at with this game and how maybe it's not as talked about as it probably should be.
I remember at the time the reviews were very much like, "Oh, the game doesn't shut up." But and when I played the game, I actually really liked how all of the characters are like talking together in a party, whether it's like you, Palutena, or any of the like the goddesses helping you along the way. Even the
Yeah.
villains, they come in and they're talking, they're like taunting you and just
Mm.
being smug as like you're working your way towards them through their armies
Yep.
and stuff. And like there's always something being said, the story's always being progressed, which I really like. Don't know, man, I need to go back and play it. But this is, I feel like this is a game that sort of needs a Switch upgrade for me. This is why I always push for it, because like A Link Between Worlds, go and play it on 3DS. It's amazing on 3DS. Like you get it, you get the 3D, you get everything. Luigi's Mansion 2 that comes out next month on Switch. That's great on 3DS. Play it there. It's made for bite size. The 3D is fantastic. Mario 3D Land Go and play it on 3DS. Like a lot of these games are just fantastic on 3DS, but this game in particular was limited by the system it was on. Just the lack of that analog stick
Yeah.
was a big blow for this like twin stick shooter.
Yes.
What a sense of
correct.
So that's why I'm pushing towards it, and just a lot of people that's the hang up with it, and I think there's a lot to enjoy if you don't have to worry about those controls. But don't worry, Josh, you got the stand, so you're all good
Thank
to
goodness.
go.
Thank goodness for this Hunger Classic, man. That like just absolutely keeping me in it, because I'm just trying to imagine some of the hand configurations or how sore my hands would get trying to, like, I don't know, because sometimes you can't hold L. You got to like, you want to like not always be pressing it. Sorry, um, and so to have to hold down L to move and then move the stick at the same time, and then the stylus, and then have it upright. No, the stand just definitely needed at this stage, just to sort of free your hands up. So, but no, that's good. Yeah, they're definitely one of those games that was limited by its hardware, and yeah, if it was on the Switch or the next one, um, it would definitely improve the experience. I feel, and it'd be one of those hidden gems that sort of more people could get to experience again, and um, get more Kid Icarus, because it's an older game now already, which is pretty crazy to think about. Well, over 10 years now.
Oh God, you're right. Yeah, it's like 12 years old. Yeah.
Holy mackerel! Yep.
I still remember
Yeah.
I was in PE class at high school and I remember playing it in there. I don't know why. I remember trying to do an English assignment. I remember trying to do an English assignment on it as well. But then I found another topic to use that was a lot easier instead of trying to figure out some themes and some whatever's going on in Kid Icarus Uprising. Can't remember. Wasn't that good at English? Wasn't that bad? I think I ended up with a B at the end of the year. I'm like, that's good.
That's all right. That's fine.
That's good.
Yeah,
Better than my C in math. Better than my C in math.
Oh, Drew, come
on. Yeah.
Love math. Math is so good.
You love a good math.
But I'll keep playing, Drew. I'll keep playing at this. I'm keen to do more chapters and talk to you next time about what I've done in between.
Yeah. If you find any time in between Hollow Knight and Thousand Year Door and whatever else you're playing.
I'm juggling at the moment. Yeah, it's a bit of everything right now.
Do you reckon you'll get back to Hollow Knight, or do you reckon there's a break? There's a break coming.
Maybe a break. I don't know. I want to keep playing. I've just unlocked the double jump, whatever it's called. So I need to explore all those new areas I can explore now. So it's not like I'm stuck or anything. Just one of those things. So that'd be good.
Get through that. Break out a guide.
So many good games. I'm not too far off. I'm still a little bit off, but not too far. Not too far. I'll finish it.
Yeah, I know you will. You're a good boy.
Thank you. I'm a good boy. I finished my games.
Something I was just thinking about over the last just conversation with 3DS games. We've got Luigi's Mansion 2 coming out next month. Do you reckon it will sort of move the needle at all? Do you reckon it will be like a good seller considering how popular Luigi's Mansion 3 was? Or do you reckon it'll just be like, look, a lot of people played it, a lot of people don't really care about it because it doesn't look as good or whatever? Do you reckon it will do much as far as, I guess, just not even like copies sold, but just people talking about it?
Yeah, I really don't know with this one. I'm trying to work out if this is a big game or not, because obviously Luigi's Mansion 3 turned out to be massive. And this one, yeah, being a remake of Dark Moon or Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS, it's not as good, is it? It's more chapter based, small snippets of, you go in and out, and it's not going to rate as well, review as well. But it is Luigi's Mansion, and people, more people are into this series now. So I think it will do in between what I'm thinking. It's not going to do the 15, 17 million that Luigi's Mansion 3 did. But, I think it's going to be bigger than what, we've seen recently, like a Pikmin 4 or some of those smaller things. So I think
Okay.
I don't know. I'm going to go for
Hmm.
like 7 million, maybe. I don't think it's going to be massive, massive. But that's still a lot, isn't it? So I still don't know
That's
whether it's
huge,
going to
dude.
get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe closer to 5 or something. It's just going to, but even then, that's pretty good. And then this late in the Switch's life, I don't know if that is a hindrance right now or if it's only a positive thing because it's a lot of people still have a Switch and the install base and the usage of it's still pretty high. I'm not sure. I'm really having trouble trying to gauge. What do you think?
Yeah. I think it'll probably fit into what the rest of the games are doing, where it's just like that is like that sort of filler. It'd be more than like Mario vs
Yeah.
Donkey Kong. It'd be more than probably even Princess
Oh,
Peach
for sure.
Showtime, honestly.
Yeah.
Um,
That
but
they
yeah,
only
probably
sold just over a million. But yeah.
yeah, probably it might like reach like 3 million, just judging by what other games sell on Switch.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but who knows? There might have been so many brand new Luigi's Mansion fans from three,
Yeah,
and
correct.
they're still playing Switch, and they missed it on 3DS, and yeah, just it'll be one
Yep.
of those interesting things just to gauge, just to see, because if this is a hit, like Luigi's Mansion is like, it isn't just a one-off. It isn't just people interested in the third game or whatever. It is like a powerful franchise essentially for Nintendo to keep going with. So yeah, but I think for me personally, I'm not. I kind of just want to play it on 3DS again. I think like missing the 3D is actually like kind of, that was like really a really cool sort of feature for the 3DS, um, with Luigi's Mansion 2. So I don't know. I loved how like you could like look into each room and really see it. Whereas on Switch, I don't know. It'd be interesting to try
Yeah.
it when it comes out. But
I still haven't, you know, obviously Paper Mario's just come out, so the focus has been on that. But I'm keen to see the next few weeks, like what's really different about this game, because at this stage there really isn't anything. And I don't know. I feel, you could get away with that maybe a bit more with Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I don't know if you can get away with it as much with this game. So, um, yeah, I'd like to see some good sort of quality of life things there. Some really good updates, sort of new modes or features, things like that, which I'm sure we'll hopefully hear about in the next couple of weeks. Maybe in this direct that happens probably next week, Drew, or maybe the week after. It's got to be the first 2 weeks
oh
of June, surely.
yeah, I wish they'd just come out and tell us. Like in the past, when E3's happening, they'll be like, "All right, we're going to be this weekend or this time. We'll see
Mm,
you there." But now that E3's gone, they just sort of like, they don't really blend in with Summer Games Fest, so
yeah. But we
they're just
know
out on
there's
their
one
own.
coming. They've actually announced it, which is great.
Yeah,
'Cause we'd all
but
be
we just don't know
freaking
the.
out, like, "Oh my god, is it gonna be one?" There has to be one, but
Yeah,
now we know there is one.
I just wish they'd tell us like a month in advance. Don't know, like the old days. I miss E3, Josh. I really do. Like Summer Game Fest has not scratched the itch. I know, like
No, no.
I think I think like a lot of media, they don't really notice anything different because they still go to a location, they still play demos, all of this just on a smaller scale. But at home, when we're like sat watching like live streams or press conferences, it's just not the same. Just having like it's all here,
No,
it's
it's
all at
not.
the same time. Take 2 days off, consume it all, make a list of all the games you're excited for the another 12 months.
Yeah,
Don't
I
know.
I don't know. I think at least for a Nintendo fan, I think the Direct's, like, more than done enough to replace it from that point of view. If you're just into Nintendo, like, the hype that a
Yeah,
Direct can bring and does bring, um, is pretty unreal. And, everyone watching at the same time, I just love that. And then everyone, like, for that one more announcement and people are like, "What the hell is it gonna be?" And, hopefully sometimes you don't know what's gonna be announced, sometimes it gets leaked, but, yeah, there's something pretty cool about that. So, yeah, we nothing's been leaked so far. So, I'm keen to, be great if nothing does, because if something does get leaked, I will find out just how my socials are. It's just, um, how I set up my show and just for looking for stuff. But, yeah, I'm generally interested to know how they fill in this second half of the year, because we know nothing after World Championship in July.
yeah. How many more remakes can they burn through?
Yeah.
Who
How many
knows?
have we had so
Probably.
far? We've got
Yeah,
another code, Mario versus DK, um, and then Paper Mario, Luigi's mentioned too. So four. Yeah,
yeah.
pretty
It's a
heavy.
lot,
Pretty heavy.
which is fair enough, but Gotta get something
And
new
then you
soon.
can
I know
argue World
Princess Peach was new,
Championship's
but
not really anything too different, and Endless
no.
Ocean wasn't different to the other entries. Princess Peach
Well,
Showtimes are the only
yeah.
real. I know it's a
Yeah.
bit of a flawed argument that, but yeah.
Yeah. I would count Endless Ocean. That is another game in the series.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
that's like saying Mario Sunshine isn't a new game compared to 64. It's like, oh well, it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
good. Maybe not that extreme.
From my point of
That's
view,
obviously
it's
a bit more
just
extreme.
it's still scanning fish, and they're the same fish, and it's not like mega evolution fish now, and they're all very different. A sea bass is still a sea bass, and you still scan it, that kind of thing. But yeah, I get what
Yeah,
you mean.
they added mega evolutions to the fish.
Yeah, what happens when radiation poisoning happens into the lake? Let's see the mutations. They didn't do anything
Get
like
3
that.
eyes. Yeah, just like the
Yeah,
Simpsons.
correct.
If I'm like the
Yeah,
Simpsons carp, just in the lake. Yeah,
100%.
no,
Yep.
no. Looking forward to finding out what we're going to be playing.
June 9. That's the date. 9th of June.
Mm.
I'm saying
Surely
that right
they've
now.
got one. Surely they've got one big game, at least one, just like one
Metroid.
unique. Yeah, well, that'll fit the bill, wouldn't it? We talked about that a fair bit last
We
week,
have.
whether
Yes.
where they fit that in. But yeah, that would be a good time to play that
It's
card.
time. It's time for Metroid. Here we go. It's like, oh, there's nothing to announce. We don't want to announce things before the Switch 2. Like, well, you've had it under our nose the entire time. It is Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah,
Announce
I'm
that,
kind of
baby.
assuming that we will get Prime 2 and 3, but
Shadow Drop.
with that logic, is there enough time to release 2 and 3 and then release 4? Like, yeah, it would have to be soon. Like,
If
it
it
would
was a
have to
November
be
game,
June,
and
July.
yeah,
Yeah,
if it was a Shadow
it would
Drop,
have to be
and
like
then
have to be almost a shadow drop, wouldn't it? Then yeah,
yep,
holidays for Metroid Prime 4.
yep, yep, that would work.
Yeah, agreed. Awesome.
Just,
Yeah.
yeah, you wouldn't want it too much closer. I would have thought.
Just release them all together, 2, 3, 4 in a pack.
Oh, but if we're
Just
going
do
to
it.
think about it seriously, what are we going to see there? We're probably due for another Mario Party.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
It's
I
not
don't
going to
know.
be Pokemon. Zelda
Yeah.
ports make a lot of sense.
That's the thing. It's just like with
Some
Metroid.
new IP that's like a Rhythm Heaven, Nintendogs and Cats. I can't believe that hasn't been a thing on the Switch yet.
Yeah,
Stuff like
it's a
that.
really weird place to be in with Switch because we're at the point now where you've got to save your big things for the next system, but you also want some
correct.
big hitters for like the massive install base you've got. But
Yeah,
I don't think we've ever had just one system that's had just so much on it where we've kind of run out of ideas. We've run out of places to go.
oh,
in
it's
some
been
ways.
unreal. Yeah, there's been so much on it. Yeah, correct.
Like I think
The range
I
of
was
games. Yeah,
I was pretty satisfied years ago when it comes to just what's on it. Like as far as the series go, like I'm like, oh, can't wait for Smash Brothers or whatever. But that'll happen pretty soon. But then we sort of had like a lot of the Mario games and all of the big stuff, and then even like the smaller stuff like Endless Ocean eventually comes on. It's like, oh, well, you're left with like some pretty niche things. I think some Nintendo fans would like. I'm like,
Yeah.
you got me screaming about Kid Icarus, but not many people are. You got people like wanting an F-Zero. You want Star Fox. You still got those sort of tanks to chip into.
Mm.
But yeah, it's just whether.
Well, I don't know if they would do those though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like F-Zero would be. It would be cool, but you got to think about it from like their perspective.
No,
Like, what's it
yeah.
going to do for? Like, what's it going to do for them? Is it going to draw new people in? Is it going to satisfy a big amount of their install base? Like, it's going to do none of those things, really. Apart from like,
No, not really.
like honestly, it's
I'd
just going to
rather
be
see it on
fans
the
from.
successor.
Yeah,
Yeah, really juiced up
Yeah.
graphics and looking really snazzy at this stage.
but yeah, I just think about it from the perspective like they're better off just putting those resources into Mario Kart tracks. Like, if you're going to do a racing game, you might as well just have the racing game and call it a day. I don't know.
Drew, no.
Oh,
We need more things. We need a more hardcore one that will barely sell enough, but will make us Nintendo Boy fans happy. Come on, Drew. Come on.
Yeah, okay. I'll allow it then. It was only being held back by my word, so.
Yep.
No, we know that's not true.
No, but
otherwise I would have Kid Icarus on Switch.
Do we get another Kirby game? I don't know. There's so many late ones. We'll probably get another Kirby one.
No, we're good. I love Kirby. I've loved the last couple of Kirby games.
I know we're good, but we'll probably get another one.
Man, the one last year was fantastic. Return to Dreamland. Really liked it. But that was already a remake. We're already in Kirby remake territory. Do we get a brand new Kirby game in the last year of Switch? I don't know.
Don't know. Yep. We will see.
To think about it.
Correct.
Seems like a good place to end the show there, Josh.
All to come.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Got a big month ahead of us. But Josh, anything you'd like to touch on before we head on out of here?
Just a shout out for my episode again for Nintendo. Just came out earlier today. Please check it out. We had another in-depth discussion on Paper Mario. The Nintendo acquiring Shiver, some NSO things, and have a pretty funny segment at the end called Weird Nintendo, where I look into some pretty random things in the world of Nintendo. But yeah, check it out if you're so interested. But always a pleasure, Drew, being on the House of Mario with you. Always a good time.
Bloody beautiful, mate. I really enjoy it with you as well. And everybody, thank you very much for joining us here, whether you're live in the YouTube chat or you listen on podcast services. But thanks to everybody who joined us live on chat. Got Brian, Wacko Jacko, and Nintendvania in there as well. Leaving some comments. You're so good, Josh. You're just like, you're able to multitask.
Admin. I'm doing admin. I respond to them.
Yeah, someone's got to.
Yep.
I'm not very good at multitasking, typing at the same time.
You're hosting. That's fine. I got you.
I guess so. Yeah, I'll give myself that slack. Yeah, everybody, thank you very much for listening. But it's time to get the fuck out of here. It's time to go. Doors, the doors to the House Mario, they're closed. Oh. Hello, Fox. Catch you later.
See ya.